Stampers, I'm Meg from LovenStamps, and this is Wednesday mornings, Maker Mornings with Meg. So I have a project to share with you because today is the very last day of the mini catalog. So if there are things retiring from there, you're going to want to grab those today. June 30th is the end, the last chance to get some of those things. Plus some bundled pricing on some of the things that will continue. But the stamp set I'm going to show you is one that just has really great all-purpose images. So it is called Pretty Perennials. It's right here. And I know it's florals, but it has this great happy word in it and then words that go along with it. So, and I don't mean to downplay florals. Like, they're good for everything, right? They're birthday cards, they're thank you cards, they're sympathy cards, they're anything that you want them to be. So having a good set of florals in your stamping toolbox is always a bonus. A great way to sort of just set yourself up to always be able to make the cards that you need. And I like the happy greeting on this, especially because the font on this stamp is a perfect match for the ones in the stamp set, the florals. And so we're gonna make a card that uses just the stamp set. So if you're a person who's a newer stamper and you don't have a stamp and cut and emboss machine, yeah, you can totally do this technique and this project with just the stamps and ink. If you do have your dies or your die cut machine, then I have the dies that we're going to show a quick way to dress this up to bring it up a level. And best of all, okay, I know that there are some people out there who hate measuring. Like, when you get like a card that has dimensions on it, then that's just like, forget it, not doing this. Then this is the video for you, because I'm gonna show you a trick to do this card. I'll give you the dimensions if you're a measuring person, and I will show you the trick for never having to measure this card again if you hate measuring. So, oh, Jenny, perfect. I'm so glad that we could talk about it today. She says she really likes this set. She's been looking at it. So, morning, Trish and Kathy and Carol and Cheryl and Margie and Deborah, and just good to see you guys this morning. All right, ready to get stamping? We're going with colors that we used the other day when I did my Turtle Friends card. So we're gonna go with Bermuda Bay, Granny Apple Green, and Bumblebee, which are just sort of great favorite happy summer colors. So we're gonna stick with those, and yeah, let's get stamping. I'll flip you guys down here. So you could make this exact same card in any color scheme to fit your mood. So if you wanted something that was just a little bit less like, I don't know, summery in your face kind of, you could do something that was just a little bit softer in colors. You could use the subtle tones. Lots of good possibilities for things there too. But we're gonna go with these brights here, and I'm going to flip the cardstock and fold it in half. So it's just a regular half sheet card, so 5.5 by 8.5. And then now, if you're the person who hates measuring, then don't listen to this part, okay? The part that is going to layer on here is 4 by 5.25. And then we have 2 more layers. The basic white is 2.25 by 3.5. And the Bermuda Bay that's gonna go underneath it is 2 3/8 by 3 5/8. And I know that some of you guys are glazing over, so, okay? So that's our starting sizes. Now, if you hate measuring, I'm just gonna show you how you can do this with no measuring. So ignore the numbers. We have a trimmer, but we're not gonna use the numbers. And let's see, I'm gonna do it this way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with a piece of cardstock for this small layer. And I'm gonna say, I think it should be, I don't know, Meg said something about 2 inches. So I'm just gonna cut it around 2 inches. So there we go, okay? And then, I don't know, Meg said something about 3 and whatever. So I'm just gonna make it ish there, okay? So it doesn't really matter. If you're the measuring person, you can ignore this part. This part's not for you. So I've got a piece of basic white cardstock, or you just go through your stash. You know, if you save your scraps and stuff, just go through and pick a scrap that looks about the right size. Now here's what you wanna do. Get a piece of your layering cardstock that's just a little bit bigger, or bigger enough. And I'm just gonna take my Stamp and Seal, and I'm gonna put one little tiny bit in the center, okay? So it's from here to here in case you can't see that very well. And I am going to stick it on here and I'm gonna butt it up to the edges, kind of so I have the perfect mat. Do you kind of see that there? Then I'm gonna slide this back in my trimmer and I'm gonna move it over until the groove is exactly where I want it to cut along that edge. And I'm just gonna slide this across there. And so now I've got my paper cut. And then I'm gonna take this, make sure, since we only have a little adhesive on there, don't move it around too much. I'm gonna line it up again so that the groove on the trimmer is right there. And I'm gonna cut there, okay? And now I have my pieces. Now for a technique, you need them apart. So you're gonna peel these apart. Now, pay attention to this part, no matter whether you're the measuring person or the non-measuring stamper, because you don't want to peel back. You don't want to go and peel this away. You want to take these two layers and you want to twist them against each other, okay? Because what that does is it shears the adhesive between the two layers and it makes it really easy to get apart without damaging the fibers. If you take paper and you, let's say these were attached, and you peel this back, here, we'll do this. I'm using my other adhesive actually, so it's gonna make it even worse, but we're gonna stick these two layers together and I wanna get them apart and I peel like this. Do you see, as I do that, it bends all those cardstock fibers and now this piece is damaged and so I can't really use it again without people being like, hey, it looks like this part. Anyway, so remember to shear the adhesive just by twisting layers when you wanna get those apart. Okay. So anyway, back to our technique here, and I'm gonna use the ones I pre-measured, but honestly, the other ones will work fine. And so for our stamping technique, sometimes you'll see this called triple time, but we're just gonna do 2 layers and call it double time because it's just that much simpler. And when you have a stamp set like Pretty Perennials with just these amazing images, you don't really need 3 layers. So again, I'm gonna put just that little bit from there to there, an adhesive on here. And without our layer in between, I'm gonna go ahead and stick this down, okay? Now I'm making sure I'm keeping it straight. There we go, okay? So we have our layers stuck together. And you guys remember how I'm gonna get those apart at the end? I'm gonna twist, right? Okay, so I'm gonna start with our greetings and we're gonna do kind of a collage-y kind of stamp. So happy is gonna go on here first. And I want this to be super strong among our busy flowers. So I'm gonna go with Memento Black and I'm gonna go ahead and stamp this kind of towards the side here, okay? So I'm stamping this in my layer. I'm gonna make sure I didn't shift it because remember there's not much adhesive on there. And then which greeting to go? I think I'm gonna go with sending lots of. So I'm gonna ink this up and we're gonna do sending lots of happy. Okay, so I've got our greetings on there. And then I'm gonna come back with Bermuda Bay and we're gonna do our largest flower first. So I like to use my largest images first and then fit the smaller ones in as we're going along in our sort of collage stamping technique. So I'm gonna start with this one. Well, let's see. We'll stamp one kind of off the edge here. And actually, when you're doing this double time stamping, sometimes I don't bother, but I am gonna go ahead and put my pad underneath because I wanna make sure that I get a really good image. Now, I could put it here and then I'd end up with ink all over my piercing mat. So instead, what I like to do is put it underneath my stamping pad there. So you have to just know that it's there because I know you can't really see the dimension. Okay, so let's see, I might move it up a little bit. Okay. Now back with our Bermuda Bay, we're gonna ink this up and we're gonna stamp here at the corner. Now, can you guys kind of see, I don't know if you can see very well, do you see that little line there along the seam of the papers? I wanna make sure that I get as much ink stamped on there as possible because what's gonna save us in the end is putting this layer underneath there, okay? So when you're stamping, sometimes you'll find that it even helps with photopolymer to pick this up and slide your finger underneath it to really just make sure that you're getting contact as much as possible. And with photopolymer stamps, they stick just enough that you can often pick up the paper with them and get that exactly where you want it. So, okay, so now let's go back and add some Bermuda Bumblebee. And I love the fact that the stamp set has different textures and so forth with it. So I'm gonna go back and use these two stamps, I think, with my Bumblebee to give us some extra color. And honestly, it doesn't matter where you put these. I want to have some kind of overlap the seam, and then I might have some that are kind of completely off. And let's see, get some of this. Okay, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna use Granny Apple Green to get some greenery in there. And for this one, these two leaves, again, it's a two-step stamp set, so you can layer the pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and do the first one kind of full strength here. So doing the lines in full strength. And then I'm gonna go back and we're gonna fill them in with some of the stamped off images. So, all right, I can't decide which end of the leaf I like to be the inside one and which is the outside one, so we'll just throw it on there. All right, and then here is the second one. This is the fill-in layer, and I'm gonna stamp once on my scratch paper for each time before I fill in those leaves. And again, they don't have to like super line up exactly. It's a really forgiving image, and with photopolymer, you can pretty much see what you're doing anyway. Okay, now I wanna give the, let's see, I think I want some more yellow in here, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more kind of up here, and maybe one more of these guys. And I'm not even using like, except for like a small number of the flowers that are in this set. There are so many good possibilities here. Okay, but I wanna give the centers to these images here. Hi, Jenny. And so I'm gonna go back with the black because that's really gonna show up really nicely. And I really like this guy here for, this guy here for having that show up really nicely. Okay, all right, so let's see, while we're at it, I might, stamp something on my envelope. We'll do a Bermuda Bay flower and maybe like a little set of leaves to go with it. Two leaves together is always a good image. We'll do this one. Oop, I forgot to stamp off. You can see what it looks like when it's a little darker. And maybe one yellow, just for, okay, two yellow. I can't help myself. Seriously, when you have a stamp set that's just really pretty like this, it's just fun to stamp. Like, wow, I made that. It really comes together. Okay, so let's go back to our card front here so that I can show you the technique for this. So what we're gonna do now, remember, we're gonna peel this layer off, but we're not gonna peel it, we're going to twist it. And that adhesive is just gonna pop right off there. And so now, when I put this layer underneath, it gives us a place where our, that line between, the dimension line from the stamping the two layers is gone because it's covered, and it gives us just a nice focal point there around our greeting, okay? So remember, the problem here is that you get that white line around the edge because you have two different layers, and that is gonna be solved here. So let's go ahead and pop some adhesive on the back of this. We'll put some more on because we actually want it to stay this time. And then I'm gonna pop this up with dimensionals. And then we're going to, we're going to add some embellishments. And then I've got our next step version of this card that I will show you with the die cuts. So we've got lots of good possibilities for this one. So this card is going to be, this card stamp set is gonna be retiring. So the last day to order it is today. So don't miss it. Okay, all right, so we have that. And then watch when we put our card layer behind, you get that really great effect where the colors just pop. So we went kind of from here, which is pretty. And honestly, you could put this on like, a Whisper White card layer and it would be kind of elegant. But when you add that same Bermuda Bay card as the ink, which is a great Stampin' Up feature, it just really pops the colors out. So love, love, love when everything matches the way I want it to. Okay, and so I'm gonna pop this on here. And embellishments. I know yesterday or Wednesday, wait, what's today, Wednesday? Monday, our card had no bling on it. It was a little bit shocking. We're gonna add bling today, so never fear. I don't remember what that card was. I must have put it someplace. Oh, it was this one. It was our last Peach Blossom card, and it had no actual bling. So to make up for it, I got sequins out. These are the Artistry Bloom sequins, which I adore. They come in 5 different colors in the package. I keep my partial packages in just as one of these clear, this is a clear medium envelope from my Stampin' Up! Store. And it's just really convenient for storing these partial packages. So I'm gonna go with this orange color here and pop some of these off. And I think I'm gonna do sort of a concentration of the big ones, the bigger sequins. There's 2 sizes kind of around our greeting here. And it looks like I've got a smudge of ink there. So apparently I'm gonna pop, I think it has to be a smaller one. I'm gonna pop a small, is that enough to cover it up? Yes. Small sequin over there, which kind of throws off our sequin planning, but that's okay. We'll pop some more on here to kind of give it a little bit more like, oh, that one was supposed to be there. All right. And you actually get a ton of these sequins in a package, so not to worry there. And these are kind of all in a line. So I'm gonna move this one. Actually, I didn't get the glue dot. Okay, I'm not gonna move that one. Maybe I'll move this one. Okay, I'm not gonna move any of them, they're fine. If you want to try to get them up, you just have to make sure that you get your nail or take your pick tool underneath the glue dot and you can move those. Okay, so ready for the next step? This card is perfectly beautiful the way it is, but I really like the way the dies match these images. So pretty much for each stamp, there is a coordinating die, plus there are extra accessory images. These guys are meant to highlight different elements. The leaves give you more flexibility in die cuts. If you wanted to die cut the flower itself, they do have the matching dies here. So it's kind of like one of those double sets that includes images or dies to cut your images plus dies to add selection, okay, or add possibilities. So I'm gonna use these guys here, which are all from the, don't match the stamps or don't cut out the stamps variety. And I'm going to go ahead and die cut some pieces here to highlight. And so I went ahead with Bermuda Bay at first to match this one. And I'll show you what this looks like because it was not my final go-to. So I popped this on here, and what I found is that it didn't show very well because it's really too close in color to the one we've already got. So instead, I decided to go with Coastal Cabana because Coastal Cabana is a little bit lighter, and it, I think I should do 2. No, I think just one. Coastal Cabana is a little lighter, and so it stands out a little bit better. And then because we covered up that sort of black center that we really liked, I decided to use this one and do Bumblebee, which helped to echo those same colors. So we need to decide which flower we're putting this on. I'll show you a different version of this card. I gotta look at it right side up. That has the flower stamped in a little different spot. I don't know, either one. Actually, they both make me happy. I think I'm gonna go with this one over here. Okay, so we have to go ahead and stick these down, and I'm gonna use my multi-purpose liquid glue for that, which is a fabulous adhesive. If you can see it, it is enough. So you can see the glue there on that little flower, and that is going to be plenty to stick it down. Now, I know maybe you're worried that our flower sticking out the edge. That's okay. I'll show you what we're gonna do for that. And then I'm gonna take the center here and add a little more glue on there and pop that on, okay? So now we have one flower that's just really highlighted and kind of has that extra special touch. And then I showed you this leaf die here. So I am going to bring in the leaf, and I've cut it actually into 3 pieces because I don't really need it all in one spot. And I'm gonna go ahead and put these on in separate places so that we can kind of spread this out. Or you could cut more of them, whatever works for you. But let's see, Teresa said she never thought that the black centers would have worked, but they work beautifully. Yes, and you know why? Because my greeting is stamped in black. And so when you have a color and you repeat it on a project, then that really helps to solidify its presence, or it's like, yes, I really did intend to use black on this card. It wasn't, you know, just like an afterthought. So when you repeat a color, or you repeat like with cardstock or ink or whatever, you're really like setting that card up to support that color. So yeah, think about repeating your colors. All right, and then these guys, I'm just gonna kind of tuck in, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Is that too much? Too much? Yeah, I kind of like it. And I like it because we still have some negative space over here, some white space, and we still have some negative space over here. And I'll just pop a little bit of glue here on the back of these branches. Okay, and tuck that. Try not to spread that glue. It would have been easier if I'd put this on underneath. There we go. Okay, oops. Well, that one we're gonna cut off too. I guess I've got 2 things to show you how to cut off. And then of course you would wanna stamp like a real simple inside for this card. You're just having so much fun stamping, right? Why wouldn't you just stamp another layer to go inside the card? It's one of the beauties of having fabulous images that just really stand up for themselves. So, all right. Now we have our trimmer handy from when we did our trimming, and I'm gonna get rid of this mat underneath because that was making life a little difficult, and bring my trimmer back in. Now when I trim edges like this, I really prefer to trim them from the back side so that I can really see what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna flip this over, I'm gonna line this up and position my trimmer to just trim off that little leaf edge. And you can see it doesn't look weird on the front. It looks like, you know, it's just cut out of a larger piece. You could also use your paper snips from the back side. You can avoid cutting your card base a little bit more with that. So I'll go ahead and trim that off. And so then our flower there is flush with the edge of the card. So if you're putting it in an envelope, it matters. You need to fit it in. If you're not putting it in an envelope, like you're just gonna attach it to a gift or something with like a ribbon. Sometimes I'll punch a hole through the corner of a card and like tie it to a gift bag so that it's part of the decoration for the gift bag. Then of course you could have things hanging off wherever you want. Okay, so there is our envelope to go with this, and then our layer to go inside, which I didn't stamp, so you can imagine that that one's gonna fit inside there really nicely. So, do you guys wanna see some card samples? I have some more samples to show you since this is the very last of the last chance days. I thought maybe I would just run through my sample basket one more time in case there are sets that you are, you know, just super excited to get. Now, I haven't actually double checked against the what's available online, so there might be something that isn't available. I know some of the stamp sets are sold out already. I know that this one is definitely available, so don't get mad at me if I show you something that isn't there, but you can look, the link is in my video description here for both the cutting sizes for this card as well as for the last chance list and shopping for these supplies. So, all right, so projects, this little shark guy is going. I know that these dies are still available. I use this for Valentine's, but you could certainly use it for anything, a little treat packet. Here is another fun shark card. This one is by Tammy White. Another fun shark card by Robin Carden. I have them kind of organized here. This one is by Karen Titus. So lots of fun ways to use those little sharks. Next I have some snail cards. These are ones that I did. These are those Valentine cards. If you haven't gotten the cute little, sweet little Valentines, they are half price right now, so grab those. This is the snail mail set. I don't know if the snail stamp set is available right now. If it's not, the French one is. And sometimes you can get away with getting a French stamp set. A lot of times they're discounted greatly because you know they're in stock or whatever. And the images are still good. And sometimes you know everybody knows what merci means. Things like that, or je t'aime or whatever. So sometimes you can stamp French stuff in your cards and have it work. This was another snail card that we did with a designer series paper that I think might be gone. Let's see, what else? Oh, this was one of my favorites with that Valentine-y hearts die cuts, including the die cut that makes that heart border there. This one I think is still available, so don't miss that. What else? Oh, this guy here, this designer series paper I noticed was still in the store this morning for half price. It's really pretty, definitely not just for Valentine's. Let's see, I'm trying to think what I'm not sure what's still for sure there. The refill, at least for the cactus stamp set, so the cactus paper. And then this actually is not a stamped cactus. This, sorry, you can't see with the glare. This cactus is die cut from the designer series paper. So you could also fussy cut those or just use them. But so this would be that cactus refill. You could still get pieces for this and those little felt flowers. Let's see, the flamingo. I think the flamingo stamp set might be gone, but this was a DSP card-based card. And the flamingos themselves are in the die set, which is half price and still available. And you could certainly do a card with just the flamingos without the specific stamps. So good possibilities there. What else? The little ladybugs, these guys, I think are still in the store. I saw them for half price and they're really terrific. These I know are there, the cards and envelopes. So they are half price. So it's like $5 for a set of these cards. And it's this part of the card. So let's see, here's another one. It's the background and then the envelope to match it. And those are such a good, they're such a good deal. And lots of good possibilities on different ways to layer them. And I have a bunch of video tutorials on using these too. So those are the Dandy Garden Cards and More, I think is what they're called. And I did a video kind of recently where I showed different ways to use the cards and more. So those are like the ones that are kind of, people think about them just for scrapbooking, but they're great cards. So this was a card design for that one. Here was another one where I split the card up and used a greeting right from the card. And then same for this one. I just cut out this greeting and paired it. So those cards are still in there. So don't miss those if you're looking for last chance items. Let's see. Oh, this is the background here is with a little gold foil on it. This is from the Sweet Little Valentine's cards. Definitely a great thing to add for layers. This wrapped bouquet dies I know are still there. I think the stamp set's probably still available, but those are great to put together too. So kind of some fun ideas for that one. Oh, and here's a wrapped bouquet card that I did earlier when it first came out. So lots of good possibilities. So hope you guys will take this chance to make the most of that last chance list. And then on Wednesday, we'll be moving on from there to the super fabulous annual catalog that came out at the beginning of this month. It's like, feel like it's been out forever, but it's really just been a couple weeks. So never fear, there'll still be lots of fabulous things to get. And in the meantime, be sure to think about that Pretty Perennials set, or if you have lots of florals already and this isn't one that you're super excited about, then think about that double time stamping technique, or even triple time. Triple time, you would have 3 layers on this one. Think about that technique and incorporate it for your favorite stamp set. Actually, I think it would be really cute with Sweet as a Peach. You could stamp a whole bunch of the peaches. Really the key for it is just make sure you overlap those layers so that your image is continued between the 2 different layers and you really get that great effect of that split layering kind of look. So, all right guys, happy Wednesday, happy June 30th. If you are a demonstrator, I hope you're looking forward to pre-ordering tomorrow, July 1st, from the new upcoming holiday catalog. If you aren't a demonstrator and you are in the US and you're interested in being part of my demonstrator, my LovenStamps demonstrator team, you could pre-order tomorrow too. So make sure you reach out and ask me about that. But hope your Wednesday is wonderful, and I will look forward to seeing you on Friday. So happy stamping, guys. Thanks for stamping with me this morning.